Hello everyone, I'm Georgia Henderson and welcome to the Douglas on My Mind show. I want you to stay tuned because whenever we come back, we're going to talk to Miss Gwendolyn Reliford, who is the director with the Mary Hayes Center for Social Change, and we're also going to have Mr. Chris Elrod from the City of Nicholls Police Department going to talk about the upcoming Nicholls Founders Day, and we'll have some fitness buzz announcements from Gina Gibbs. We'll be back with more right after this break. We are back from break, and joining me now on the show today is Miss Gwendolyn Reliford. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Ms. Reliford is the director of the Mary Hayes Center for Social Change, and if you would just kind of give everyone an overview of the history of the Mary Hayes Center.
The Mary Hayes Center was named after a midwife in Broxton, Georgia, named Mary Hayes, and a lot of people get us confused with the Mary Hayes Elementary School because these institutions were both named after Miss Mary Hayes.
Okay.
Originally, back in the 50s, the center was supposed to be a nursing home for the black citizens because, you know, that was before integration.
Mm-hmm.
It never worked up to that. So during that time in the early 60s, there used to be a training team here, a baseball team that trained at the airport. And believe it or not, I tried to get my husband to tell me the name of that team. He said the Douglas Redlegs. I'm not sure, but they were sort of like a team, a semi-pro team getting ready for the regional. And they would come here and train, and they had quite a bit of blacks that were from the foreign countries. And they did not stay in the motels.
Mm-hmm.
So they had needed a place to stay. And what they did, they put beds in there, and they would let these black players stay at that center. And my aunt, Molly Shepard.
Where your center is now?
That's right. It was not called a, I think it was supposed to have been the Mary Hayes Nursing Home.
Mm-hmm.
But my aunt then, she's been deceased a few years, she used to go in there and cook for them because they couldn't even eat in the restaurants.
How about that?
And then after that phased out, in the early 90s, teen pregnancy was very high in Coffee County.
Mm-hmm.
And Commissioner Frank Jackson and the local health department here paired with the Ware County Health Department, and they wrote a grant for teen pregnancy. And they had a program called Resource Moms.
Okay.
So what they did when a teen became pregnant, they got credible women out of the community, and that woman would pair with these teen girls who were pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And when they had the baby, they even went to the hospital with them. And then after they came out of the hospital, these girls went into a parenting class, and they tried to monitor them to try to prevent that.
Mm-hmm.
They also did a drug recovery program, and also an after-school program. But after the funds wore out, then in 1996, I was just retiring, and Commissioner Jackson, the center was closed, and he asked me if I would come in and open up the center, and I said, well, what kind of programs could I do? He said, well, you can do whatever you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought about it, and rather than doing a prevention program like some of these were,
Yes.
a cure program, I decided we need a prevention, and instead of working with so many adults, I tried to gear my programs to the youth. So that's where we are now. And I've been down there since 1997.
Oh, wow.
And what we do an after-school program. We got other programs, but we were also doing a little bit of drug recovery.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for sharing a bit of history with us, because I wasn't aware of all of that. Not originally from Coffee County, but I've been here long enough that I didn't know that. So I thank you for that. So what is today's mission of the Mary Hayes Center?
Okay, right now our targeted program is the youth, and we are reaching out at risk youth. And what we do, we provide educational as well as social programs, because our kids are having problems in school. And we are challenging children for change. Let them know that they don't have to be stuck in the ruts that they're in, and they need an outlet where they can bring their problems in. And not only that, we also work with the parents and the guardians, and we work with the schools and the communities. This year we are pairing with Westside Elementary School. They will be sending some of their teachers over to work with us in the curriculum, so we can help the kids target and improve their CRCT testing and the test scores.
Ms. Reliford, is there a specific grade level that you target or work with the kids at your center, or age group?
Last year and the years before, we did pre-K through middle school. But since pre-K was more of a babysitting situation, because they seldom had homework.
Right.
And when we worked with them, it took away from the time we could work with the kindergarten. So this year we're going kindergarten through middle school.
Now, what is the application process? If parents wanted to get the kids enrolled through the Mary Hayes Center, what step-by-step they would need to do?
All they need to do is come in, and we have an application form. All we need to know is, now, we say at risk, and I know we're going to do some babysitting, but even at that, somewhere that child needs some help if it's nothing but the social program. Some may not need an educational help, but they do need some help in the social aspect of their lives. Just fill out the application, and we do have a minimum fee. We're not the Boys and Girls Club. We don't get the big grants, but we do charge a small fee, and all of this goes to the refreshments and help get the supplies and other things that we need.
Okay. Well, leading into that, when you were talking about refreshments and supplies and starting using a small fee, just share with everyone the challenges that you have with operating this center, with the level of funding that you have, and within that, tell us, how can the community get more involved, and what do you need funding for?
I think this past year was one of the worst years we've had in a while, because we have 2 air conditioners, well, we still have them, that was put there in 91. Both of them went out at the same time at the end of the school year. It cost us $1,400 to get those replaced that we did not have, but thank God for the people who saw a need, and actually all of that was donated. Not only that, the maintenance, we do have some help from the inmates, but if we painted the center this year, but see, we had to provide all the supplies. Any
facility upkeep.
Oh yes, anything of that nature, we have to have the fundings to do it. School supplies, we've been fortunate to have different ones who, when they change computers, even though they're outdated, they may not even be working, and we have a person who can go in and we save the old computers, and they take parts and they fix it where the child can actually get into the computer to do simple educational work, because that's all we use it for.
Is there ever a need, excuse me right there, when you was talking about computers, in case there's a sponsor or industry or someone, individual watching today, and they wanted to make a contribution or donation of some new computers or fairly new computers, is that something you need for your
Definitely.
center?
I don't think we ever had but one new computer down there, and that was the one in the receptionist's office, but all of the others, they were donated. And most of the time they are outdated, and when we get them, the donor does not even know that they're working. They'll tell us, we don't know if they're any good, but if you can use them, you use them. But fortunately, I have someone who can come in, and we take a part out of this one and put in the other. But they last about a year. And so right now, we are in need of some computers.
Okay. Well, please go on about some other ways, if there are some other ways where you want to reach out to the community for support.
Well, right now, we have, we do pledges, and we do have a few people who will send us money each month, and we're not talking about thousands of dollars. We're talking about $25 or $50 or maybe $100. But we do have a monthly support pledge that we're trying to do. We're trying to get someone to sponsor a child, maybe $50 a month, and that way that will help on the cost of us having to find money to feed the kids. Now, we just don't give them cookies and a little drink. We actually feed them. We actually feed them, and they are really hungry because a lot of them do not eat the food in the schools.
And some of them eat real early.
Yes, they do.
Some of the lunches start as early out on around 10:30 or so at some.
And that means from the time that child leaves school at 2:15, and we have them down there 5:30 and sometimes 6 o'clock. They are really hungry, and sometimes we have to give them something again before they leave because they're actually hungry.
Okay. Well, what are the operating hours for the center?
Actually, we try to be down at 1:30 because we do have a couple of students who come in at 1:30, and we go from 1:30 to 5:30.
And because you're primarily working with the kids after hours, after school for like homework assistance, like an after school program, you just operate during the school term. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're called after school because our staff does not get paid. Some people probably think we do. We don't have anyone who gets paid.
Okay.
Not even me. Unfortunately, of course, I didn't go in it. When I started, I was under the county. I got paid pretty much the same thing I did when I was teaching. Because originally we did have a grant. It was under DHR. It was anti-drugs.
Yes.
And but in 2011, out of
those fundings run out.
Oh gosh, out of 50 in my area, they only funded 10. And so since 2011, we've been just trying to do what we can to keep the center open. We do donations and we do fundraisers.
Do you ever have a need for volunteers to come
all of the time? And we're thankful that this year we've added to our advisory board one of the advisors from the colleges, and I hope they forgive me for this, but I can't remember whether it was South Georgia State College. South Georgia College, okay. They're giving us 6 students who are going to be trained to be teachers. And for the first time, since our grant went out, we will have a teacher permanently stationed in each class.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And they're giving us 6. And they told us if we needed any others, they can probably make an arrangement to give us more. Right now, we only need the 6. But they're under work study. So we don't pay them, but they get paid through the college. But
that's
what I have to
way
do
for South Georgia State College to get involved. Yes,
and they are on our advisory board.
Well, great. Now tell about because when I first started talking with you a couple years ago and inquiring about the Mary Hayes Center, I was just really taken back with the success that you have. That shouldn't have been surprised, but that you have with academically helping the kids on their CRT testing. If you would let's share that information with the public, how you help the kids prep them for the test and the success rate you've seen with that.
Well, see, number one, I tell that the parents have to sign a form stating agreeing to the fact that they know that we don't babysit. I don't have time to babysit. And when you get volunteers who come in who do not get paid, they don't have time to babysit. So our goal is to not to let the kids come in and sit and play. And they cry sometime and fuss, can we go out? I said, no, you do this first. But our goal is to make sure all of them meet promotional requirement. And you know, last year we had 65 children enrolled, and 95% of those were honor students. They all made the honor roll. And we do monitor their grades, their progress report, and we monitor their behavior. We have a star list. Thank for Miss Pettigo from the First Baptist Church. She comes in on Thursdays and she teaches the sessions dealing with biblical principles, moral values, and building self-esteem. And each child is listed on a poster in their class. They have 3 stars. And if they obey and do everything properly and not create a problem, they keep their stars. And every time they violate our rules or regulations or do not do what they're supposed to do, like bringing in their books or not doing their homework, they lose a star. And if they keep at least 1 star by the